Hello and welcome back to Seahawk Central. I'm Emma Tillman with news.
And I'm Davis Bell with sports.
We've got lots to cover, including last week's Wilmington Marathon, a special student spotlight, the opening of a new health clinic, and UNCW's fresh and female-led take on Romeo and Juliet. Last weekend, the 15th annual Novant Health Wilmington Marathon took over the city on Saturday, February 22nd. From beach to boardwalk, more than 5,000 runners laced up for the race. Whether tackling the 5K, half marathon, or going all in for the full, runners from across the country showed up for the challenge and the fun. Runners arrived as early as 4 a.m. for the 7 a.m. start and took off in 24-degree weather. Now, much of Wilmington's roads were blocked off for the almost 27-mile route, and stations were selectively placed throughout the course. On mostly flat terrain, runners enjoyed the scenery of Wilmington from the intracoastal waters, all 26.7 miles down to the Riverwalk. Along the route stood the family and friends of runners cheering, taking pictures, and holding up signs with words of encouragement. Here at mile 13 marker, a family waits with signs and cheers for their special runner to come by. And all the cheers were loud, with everyone rooting for everyone. Crossing the finish line first for the men's overall was Hector Falcon, finishing at 2 hours, 25 minutes, and 36 seconds, and Maria Lindberg coming in first for the women's overall at 2 hours, 43 minutes, and 24 seconds. No matter the pace, every runner was shown the love and support that the city's running community has to offer. And past the finish line were runners stretching, hugging, crying, and even drinking beer. Former UNCW student Lily McCrae shared a few words on her pre-race thoughts and who motivated her most for her first ever marathon.
I think I was just excited for the day, was hoping to finish and do my best, and I feel like that's what I did. So, well, I can't take any credit for that because I feel like I had incredible friends who just pushed me and encouraged me in every aspect. So I feel like that's what was it.
As we near the end of February, Black History Month comes to a close, and Stephanie Rodriguez interviewed UNCW student and president of the Black Student Union, Aaliyah Smith.
Thank you, Emma. In honor of Black History Month, we're excited to highlight a very influential student here at UNCW. This week, I had the privilege to interview Aaliyah Smith, president of the Black Student Union. Not only does she take initiative for event planning and community engagement, but she is also deeply involved with the Upperman Center and strives to create togetherness on campus. Here's more from Smith on what got her involved with BSU and more.
So the main thing that motivated me to get started with the Black Student Union is I was looking for kind of my space here on campus as a freshman. I went to the Involvement Carnival and way back in August, and I was able to immediately find all the Upperman tables, and I actually talked to the past president of BSU, and she was really sweet, and they were looking for positions, so I was like, this is something that I can focus on that isn't schoolwork or my actual job. So it was very exciting and something new, and it was almost like an automatic little community. And the motivation for me to become president afterwards, I started as secretary, so I was able to be in a lot of conversations about how BSU runs and finding out the ins and outs of BSU. And a lot of our e-board last year were seniors, and a lot of them were leaving UNCW, so I was able to not only figure out the legacy they were leaving behind, but I was also able to rebuild and see who I wanted on my e-board and who wanted to be on the e-board and how we can kind of rebuild. And I was like, this is a perfect opportunity to become a student leader in that position. I'd have to say the most rewarding part of leading BSU has to be the deep connections I get with not only my general body members, but also my executive board members. It's really easy to not only get all these people into one space, talking about our experiences, having fun, playing games, but it's also really rewarding to see friendships form and getting more people involved that haven't been as involved. I love seeing our numbers build and build every time a new event happens, and I love seeing more people in Upperman because they were like, oh yeah, I was at a BSU event last week, and they were all like, girl, you better get in here. And it's like, yeah, that's how we are. So it's really rewarding to see that community build. So BSU has done a really, really integral part of fostering community on this campus. Our main purpose is to benefit and support the welfare of Black students on campus, and we do that through our events, and we do that through resources, through our group me, through our Instagram. We are able to connect with people who, even if they have never been to an event, they feel like they are free to reach out to us, and that is our main goal, is to make sure people are can always feel like they can reach out for us for resources, or if they ever need anything, they need to talk about anything. I feel like we're really good at being there for them. So I would say, from my experience, the main strife that Black students have on a PWI campus is the fact that it's hard to find that community. Not only is it just going to classes and being one of very few people of color, but also not being able to just know when things are happening or anything like that. And I feel like BSU has our strong suit is being able to not only connect with people in Upper Min, but also outside of Upper Min. Our e-board has the ability to be really nice outside of our BSU events. We reach out to people who we haven't seen before. We reach out to people we see sometimes, and we're like, hey, you should come to our next event. So we are really outgoing in that way, that we always want people to feel involved, and no matter when and where they get involved.
A sophomore studying marine biology, Smith has big dreams of diving into marine conservation with hopes of restoring habitats for marine wildlife. Her passion and leadership truly makes an impact at UNCW. If you want to connect with Aaliyah Smith or the Black Student Union, be sure to follow their Instagram at UNCW-BSU. For the latest updates on all things Upper Min Center, head over to the second floor of Fisher in room 2021 for more.
Thanks, Stephanie. For one night only, the CAB Main Stage Theater saw a unique take on Shakespeare's classic tragedy, an all-female 90s riot girl-inspired Romeo and Juliet. On Wednesday, February 19th, doors opened at 7 p.m. with a pre-show kicking off at 7:10 and the performance beginning promptly at 7:30. Directed by students Abigail Ham and Ellie Manfreda, the production featured live music, real sword fights, and a rebellious DIY spirit. Everything from composing and costuming to choreography was entirely student-run. The performance was a huge success, drawing a full house and delivering a powerful, empowering night of theater that reimagined a classic story with a fresh, female-centered perspective. To stay up to date on future productions, follow at UNCW Theater Department on Instagram or visit their website, uncw.edu/theater.
Thanks, Emily. A sport legend that grew up in Wilmington is now giving back to the community that raised him. On February 19th, basketball legend Michael Jordan opened his 4th health clinic in North Carolina and the 2nd location in Wilmington. Jordan was born in Brooklyn, New York, but moved to Wilmington at the age of 5. The 6-time NBA champion and 4-time gold medalist donated $10 million to Novant Health after the first clinic success, which helped open additional locations. The goal of the clinic is to help those who are uninsured.
So I believe the Michael Jordan Health Clinic will be very helpful to the Wilmington community, especially to me as an uninsured person. I could really use the help sometimes, and I think it's an awesome thing for what he's doing out here. So thank you.
I think it's a good idea because, there are people in our community who are less fortunate and who would require and need those services that they can't afford or pay for themselves. And I think that's a really great benefit for the community of Wilmington, North Carolina.
The clinic is located on Greenfield Street and open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. To make an appointment, call 910-833-9100.
And in light of his recent 62nd birthday, happy belated, Michael. Davis, what you got for sports this week?
Well, Emma, today we've got Seahawk baseball and softball to cover, so let's hit things off with the Seahawk Slugger.
Thank you, Davis, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another segment of Seahawk Slugger. I'm your host, Dylan Thompson, and we are in the second week of baseball with another busy week for our Seahawks. The Hawks took on to the road shortly after a busy doubleheader last week. The team traveled up to Jack Coombs Field in Durham, North Carolina to take on the 17th-ranked Blue Devils. The Hawks got off to an early start thanks to an early RBI from Bromley Thornton and an RBI double from Jack Gillespie. The Hawks were able to hold this lead, but a strong Blue Devil push late in the 6th inning pushed back the team's momentum as Duke would prevail and escape with the win by a final score of 8-4. The Seahawks would gain strength on their way back home as they faced another Bulldog team in a series, only this time the in-state opponent UNC Asheville. Parents' Weekend was no disappointment as the Hawks flew in runs early in the first matchup against the Bulldogs. Number 5, Alex DiMartino was a spotlight player in this game, totaling 4 RBIs coming from a double in the 4th for 2 runs and a home run in the 5th, giving the other 2. Other scores from UNCW were Brock Willis with a home run in the 1st and a double from Riker Galaska in the 4th to add to the lead. UNCW was dominant on the mound as well as senior Zane Taylor was able to set a new career-high record of 11 strikeouts and 3 total hits in 7 innings. Both sides led to a 13-1 victory in 7 total innings. In Game 2 of this series, it was a nail-biter to say the least. It was a back-and-forth game against the Bulldogs, who held the lead up until the 8th inning. Down 3-1 late in the inning, pinch hitter Cole Nelson stepped into the zone and crushed a homer deep to left field that brought in 3 runs, giving the Hawks the go-ahead lead. Pressing pitching once again from the pitchers held the lead for the Hawks. Trace Baker finished with a personal season-high 7 strikeouts, and Kyle Phelan finished the game off with a strikeout of his own to take the series and a win by a final score of 4-3. In the final game on the Parents' Weekend, the Hawks still showed their dominance. 8 Seahawks tallied hits, including a pair each from Tanner Thatz and Brock Wills. Hits stacked up, as did the scoreboard, giving the Hawks an early lead once again. In the 4th inning, Cole Nelson stayed hot with a 2-run home run, giving him 2 for the weekend series. A pitching fever must have spread this week from the team as freshman Cam Bagwell was dominant on the mound as well. In his 6 innings, Bagwell pitched 3 strikeouts and no runs allowed. Aubrey Smith, Bromley Thornton, and Baker Cox combined for 5 total strikeouts, 1 hit, and 1 total run to end the game and give the Seahawks a dominant 7-1 win to give a complete sweep against UNC Asheville. After an impressive performance this weekend, the Seahawks look to keep this momentum going as they will hit the road again to South Carolina to take on Coastal Carolina, leading them back home for another weekend series against Liberty. A stat-filled and successful weekend for the Seahawks wraps up my time here on Seahawks Slugger. I'm Dylan Thompson. Stay safe and go Hawks.
Thanks, Dylan, and hello, Seahawks. Boy, don't I have some awesome coverage for you guys today from this past weekend. The Hawks went undefeated for all 5 games this past Sunday, Saturday, and Friday, putting our record at 12-2 for the season thus far. Having a successful weekend means having some successful stats. Ava T finished Sunday's game with 2 hits and 2 RBIs. She was subbed in to hit with 2 people on and got the job done. 5th-year Morgan Britt finished with 2 hits and a double as well, putting her at an 8-game streak. Saturday, senior Ariel Pierce finished with 2 hits, 3 RBIs, and 3 runs. Pitcher and sophomore Peyton Eckert earned herself 7 strikeouts, reaching a new career high. Friday, Taylor Barlow represented herself well in the circle with 3 strikeouts and a 5.0 IP. Grace Hennessy topped herself off with 3 hits and 1 double and 3 RBIs. Michaela Huddleston finished her time in the circle with a 7.0 IP and refused to give up any runs to DePaul, winning 5-2. We have a final shout out for our transfer and 5th-year athlete, Maggie Pertee, with her in-the-park home run, having the Seahawks take the lead and start the game off strong against UMass. Last but certainly not least, freshman Addie Yates received the CAA Rookie of the Week, Michaela Huddleston received the CAA Pitcher of the Week, and Allison Corbin received the CAA Player of the Week. Additionally, through a team effort, the girls earned themselves a 16 total hit in our 12-2 win at Charleston Southern last week, reaching yet another achievement of the most hits in a game since 2012. Great job, Seahawks! Our next game will be against East Carolina on the 26th, and then the weekend of the 28th through the 2nd in Raleigh at NC State. Well, I think that's plenty about softball. I don't want to make any other teams feel bad, so let's hear it from Davis.
Thanks, Alexa. Well, that's all we've got for sports today, but be sure to follow us on Instagram at Seahawk Central Sports _UNCW for plenty extra sports coverage.
And as always, email us with news at uncwseahawkcentralnews@gmail.com. And in light of spring break approaching, we are taking a short hiatus from filming, but you'll be seeing plenty more of us, and Seahawk Central wishes you well on your week off.